Hey, what's up everybody? My name is JupiterClimb, and today I am going to be running Axe Armor percent for Portrait of Ruin. I've also got my co-commentator with me, Brooke. Hello, Brooke.
Hey, what's up? I'm Brooke Sheher, ready to watch this and commentate it.
Okay, let's get into it. So, Brooke, what's the deal here? What's going on?
Alright, so this is Axe Armor. You unlock this character by killing 1,000 of the old Axe Armor enemies in Jonathan Charlotte mode, which is the main mode of the game. And then beating the game, you get this mode. So Jupiter's going to do the first trick here. Nice, first try. That trick was found by Carly Rae Jepsen, as all things are.
Oh, really? I thought it was the Brooke skip.
No, it was Carly Rae Jepsen. No.
Someone should update the wiki.
Yeah, So Axe Armor has a bunch of things that they can do. They can do the super jump, but theirs looks pretty silly because there's no real animation for it.
I think it's fair to say there's really no animation in general. Even the walking animation is just a couple of frames. So a couple of thoughts about this category. It's definitely a meme, but it's a meme I take very seriously. It's actually a very technical speedrun. So I'm glad to have Brooke on board. She'll be helping out as I'm preoccupied with trying not to die. Axe Armor's pretty frail.
This one is actually really hard. All character speedruns are hard because you have to manage your HP really carefully.
So yeah, on that note, we'll be taking many safety saves. But this first area is not too bad. Let me explain some of the tricks here. You'll see that sometimes the Axe Armor dashes forward with that goofy walk. There's actually a button combo. It's forward, then forward plus attack. Kind of like Richter mode and Soten and all of those other extra modes along those lines. There are certain almost fighting game style inputs for special moves, and we'll see a couple in this run. This one right here is the most useful. It's actually faster than backdash canceling, but it's got a minimum duration and it's slower on slopes, so you gotta pick your spots where you want to use it. You'll also notice the MP bar, that green bar at the top left, acts like a stamina gauge, how many specials I can use. Alright, this is the first boss here.
Yeah, it'll raise slowly over time, and also refills to full whenever he goes to a save point. Standard Metroidvania fare. So here is the first boss, Dolahan, and you're gonna see the power of the throwing axe, which is one of the things he can use, and also just holding his axe in place does continuous damage over time. What's the input for that? You just hold up. Right?
Well, that's another one of those button combos you gotta do. It's a little technical. You hold up.
Yeah.
That part's easy, thankfully. Gives us a little bit of a break.
So I guess talking a little bit about what beating this mode entails. You have to beat all of the story portraits in the first castle, which unlocks the ability to fight sisters, and then you have to clear the rest of the portraits after sisters, which unlocks the ability to fight Bronner, which unlocks the ability to fight Dracula. So basically it's like you just go from portrait to portrait. You don't have to do anything to unlock them. They're all open from the start. He could have done the next portrait he's going to right off the bat, but it's just faster to not, because you do level up in this mode. Gonna open up a warp here to make backtracking faster later.
Also, unlike with Jonathan Charlotte, the protagonists of this game, you start with flight in this, which opens up all kinds of shortcuts and ways through the castle that other characters don't have. So this is not the standard route in a typical playthrough.
Yeah, and other things, like if you played this game before, then you know about Jonathan and Charlotte have to gain the ability to push blocks around. Those blocks are completely gone in this mode. what else? Like the parts where you need to turn into a frog. Axe Armor's hitbox is only his bottom part, so he's basically as big as the frog from regular mode.
Alright, so we're getting some classic Memeathon luck on these enemy spawns. I've gotten hit by all kinds of like larvae and ukabaks. That's all random.
Hey, going into portrait number 2, this is another one you can skip like most of, by nature of having that infinite flight and also the blocks being removed.
Okay, we got it. Nice. Off to the save. I was a little worried about my health. But there we go, we're gonna lock in that progress. So this boss coming up is actually not easy. Brooke, what's the deal with this boss?
Yeah, so this boss is pretty funky in this mode. So in the modes where you have 2 characters, she does the temptation attack.
Oh, nice.
Does she do that here?
Yeah, she does. That's actually the one you want. We got double temptation, which is great RNG.
Because temptation doesn't do anything. Oh wow, that was really good RNG. Yeah. The temptation, it actually just stands there, and we're not tempted by her, so we aren't affected by it. If we were playing as Jonathan or Richter, they would become like immobilized because they get affected by the temptation. And yeah, she has a bunch of other nasty attacks she can do, but she didn't do them, so that's nice.
Yeah, the one you really don't want to see is the electric attack. Like a typical Castlevania axe armor, electric attacks are no good when you're playing as an axe armor that can do a lot of damage quickly, so we got a little lucky there. It's pretty good RNG. Best RNG is to start the fight out with double temptation, and then you can wrap the fight up right away. So we got another button combo here. Let me do it first and I'll explain it. So I just warped through that fire. Did it again. That is a 3/4 circle forward input. And you do a little lunge attack. During that animation, axe armor is invulnerable. So we'll see that a couple more times throughout the run. Can be quite useful. Nice skip.
A nice room. That room is quite difficult.
Okay, that section went great. However, I'm going to take another safety save here because I'm going to go for a task strat on Legion. There are a few pixels where you can hover in the air and cancel your high jump, which lets you rack up a lot of damage, but it's quite dangerous. So fingers crossed for a first try. We'll start out just by throwing axes, so we get the core down. Nice laser. That looks good. Alright, pretty good fight. We almost got a nice setup there.
Yeah, not bad.
Ideally, you wouldn't get hit at all, but sometimes Legion will interrupt that glide. So now we're coming back here, but we're gonna head up this time. Nice snipe. That happens sometimes.
Like I said earlier, Axe Armor's hitbox is kind of the bottom half of him, so we can go through those pipes.
Where is the save here? Sorry, I normally don't take the save in a speedrun. There it is.
Yeah, it's down. I was gonna say down there, but then I realized with delay that would be not helpful.
No, I got you.
Alright, so we're heading into Dagon's portrait, which I remember the name of. And yeah, this one's pretty, compared to Nation of Fools at least, is pretty self-explanatory. Just rushing through, going over some enemies.
Yeah, I feel like this game's pretty unique. Nation of Fools, that area is kind of unlike anything else in the series. It's very vertical.
Definitely. That also makes it one of like the most challenging and unintuitive.
For sure, and we're actually going to get a harder, remixed version of that area later, which is the toughest part of the run.
Oh, you didn't ring the speed bell. I'm
No,
so sad.
no. Invalid run.
Yeah. But there's a bell there, and you can hit it, and it makes a noise. I know with Victor it doesn't cost any time. It might cost a couple frames with Axe Armor, but either way, you should definitely do it.
I'll try to route that in.
Yeah. And it makes you go twice as fast. Because it's the speed bell.
This boss, I feel like, isn't quite as scary as Legion, but depending on the attacks you get, it can cause some problems.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure which pattern he's looking for, but...
Basically, you don't want to get bombed. So I'm going to try and get close. That's a pretty decent start. Not the best, but it's okay. Okay.
This area, that boss is also infamously laggy, especially in Jonathan Charlotte mode when you have to grab the orb before you leave.
Yeah, I guess it's a good thing to bring up, which is there are no orbs in this category, so you can just head right out as soon as the boss is defeated. Pretty nice. These Razor Bats can hit hard, so knock them out, then continue on.
The thing with the orbs, though, is because you're not required to grab them, it's much faster to skip them, and that means you have to be more careful with your HP.
That's actually a great point, yeah. Since this is a marathon, we're taking a lot of safety saves, but in an actual attempt, you'd be at pretty dangerous levels of HP for a good chunk of the run. Here, for example, I'd be close to 0 HP, and then right here, there's a nice HP max up. Alright, so this next boss coming up takes a little bit of time to explain. What's the deal with the sisters?
So, sisters had to be modified for the alternate modes in this game. In the main mode, you just cast the spell on them, and they die instantly. Or don't die, but they get purified instantly as part of the story. But in the alternate mode, you have to just kill them straight up.
And they do not share an
So
HP
depending on
pool.
the pattern, yeah.
So we want to focus just on Loretta, this the one in green, because we do more damage to Loretta.
Nice. That was really fast. Wow.
Yeah, Axe Armor's kind of
Now
a
into the second set of portraits.
yeah. Now Axe Armor's kind of a glass cannon, I would say, where it can deal a lot of damage, but it's quite frail, and that's going to become especially true here. These second portraits, like Brooke mentioned, basically got 4 more. These are all remixes of the portraits we've already seen, but they're a lot harder, and the enemies hit a lot harder.
So there's your buddy, your fellow Axe Armor. We just passed by.
Yeah, we'll see a couple more buddies.
Yeah. Thankfully, we are merciful. We don't kill our own kind. We just pass on by. So here is the quota only question mark time you're gonna use the doll.
Yeah, the only time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Axe Armor actually does have another sub weapon, which is the doll. You throw it and you switch. Oh, never mind. For Brooke Skip, I guess.
Of course. Well, other than Brooke Skip, yeah.
Yeah. You throw it and you switch places with it. And that allows him to get past the final guard, which would normally be a huge pain.
Okay, the first boss of the second set of portraits is the Creature, kind of a classic Castlevania boss. In this version, the Creature has an RPG, and that's as scary as it sounds, so we're gonna save. What we're looking for here is the laser gun attack. Okay, that's good. Now, why can't I get that kind of a fight in an actual speedrun? Very annoying.
That was really good.
Yeah, that was close to perfect. Absolute perfect luck is double laser attack. I've never seen that.
I guess if you're familiar with portrait speedruns, you might know about the damage glitch. There's no real way to do that with Axe Armor being only one character. Of course, you can't have multiple hitboxes out at once, aside from 2, I guess. And you need 4 to activate the damage glitch. Alright, kill the worm. 2-cycle worm, I'd imagine, is what you're looking for.
Yeah, the kill was
Axe Armor.
perfect. The poison is not perfect.
Yeah.
Thankfully, there's a save coming right
I'm
up.
probably gonna take the safety save.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the fastest you can kill it with current strats. 2-cycle.
I mentioned the damage glitch because with Richter and Maria, there is a damage glitch to kill it in 1 cycle.
Oh, really?
But, yeah,
Dang. Poor Axe Armor.
it's really hard. Anyway, but, yeah, you can't do that with, Axe Armor. 2 cycles is the best we can do.
Okay, so this is a little bit...
The boulder there.
Yeah, that was fine. That damage boost was fine. There's actually an enemy coming up that's a lot scarier than the boulder. It's an enemy called a Yorick. It kicks its skull around. It doesn't look very threatening.
Yeah, this is like... When I first started running this game, I was like, why do I lose every run to this stupid enemy? And then I found out that it's actually like the hardest thing ever.
Yeah, the combo damage is rough to deal with.
Because basically, he combos his head attack into his body attack.
We're playing it safe.
Instantly.
We got knocked to the right. We're trying to get knocked to the left there. Hang on.
Okay.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
We're gonna play this safe too.
So, Mummy, this is probably not the attack you want to see.
This is worst RNG. Yeah, you got it.
Alright, so not a very lucky fight, but well executed. So, we move on. So this is the dark version of Nation of Fools, Fool's Paradise.
Yeah, and this is the hardest area in the game that I mentioned before. Everything hits super hard, very easy to die. There's lots of combo damage you can suffer, so it's tough. Thankfully, there's a nice save right at the midway point here.
I think they should have made it so that the old axe armors don't deal damage to you in this mode.
Yeah, that would have been nice. There's not really a lore to this, but if there was, I imagine it's something like, you know, this one lone axe armor decided to betray Dracula, fight for the good guys. So a bit of a red coat, maybe. That explains it.
Perhaps.
Hardest room in the game?
Yeah.
Alright, pretty good.
Got boosted the right way there, thankfully.
Yeah, that was a little lucky. Oh, come on. Sorry, stream delay. You probably can guess what happened there.
Oh, yeah. The Medusa heads in this game, unlike some of the other Castlevania games, are actually RNG. It's not like, say, Harmony of Dissonance, where they appear in front of you always. So, that does happen sometimes. Where you just get hit.
Yeah, in certain games, they won't spawn on the side of the screen that you're on, so if you're on the left, they'll only spawn at the right. This game doesn't care. They'll spawn wherever, whenever. That's a good pattern. Sneak in some extra hits.
Oh, that's a very clever step. Turn around.
So what I'm doing here is I'm throwing the axe, and then backdashing and pressing down, and that automatically cancels my attack, so I can immediately throw another one. Best Medusa fight I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's really good. Oh, that Medusa. The Medusa head.
Again, I'm noticing a pattern to this run. It's going great, which I'm happy about, but man, I would love to see this kind of luck in an actual attempt. Anyway, just me being salty, ignore me.
Anyway, 13th Street, absolute banger of a song. One of the best in the game.
Okay, this is one of my favorite strats coming up. You actually use that slope to slow down intentionally, and you can just barely kind of run behind that dead warrior. Kind of cool, saves half a second.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Here are our fellow Alzheimer's. We spared them. This green guy hits super hard, so we're just gonna go way over him. And we're coming up on the boss of this area, which is Werewolf. Probably one of the tougher fights for old Alzheimer.
Yeah, for sure one of the toughest.
Not many. He's really mobile. He doesn't have many attacks where he stands still, so you can't just do the hold your axe and he dies strat like you can with a lot of the other bosses. So I'm gonna shut up and let Jupiter do this.
The big problem here is old axe armor has a very janky hitbox, and things will hit that have no right. So I'm going to try to keep a little bit of extra distance, but I have to get in close to do some normal attacks too, so... It's kind of a balancing act.
Alright, well done.
One of my favorite
Only two
things...
bosses left.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say 2 bosses left.
Yeah, and these are actually, I think, one of the best things about Portrait. It ends on a super high note. These are 2 of my favorite bosses in the whole series.
Alright, so beating all 4 of those portraits opened up that portrait for Bronner. Bronner can be a really tricky fight because he draws these lines. He can draw the lines, an X, or like a squiggly. It's not a squiggly, it's like a Z, I guess. He can summon poison, like a starfish type thing that poisons you. He can summon these guys who would normally curse you if you were playing with a character that could get cursed. But old Axe Armor cannot, thankfully, so you just take a little bit of damage and that's it. These are the guys that can poison you, so you just kind of have to maneuver around. And then he has his "this is art" attack, where he says "this is art" and turns into a portrait. Thankfully, when he does this attack, his
Yeah, so that's Bronner.
what was I saying? I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, let me just add some fun speedrunner commentary. This is a total meme, but the record for this is now optimized to the point where if you get that "this is art" attack even once, record's probably dead. So ideally you're hoping for 1 in 16 luck, where that never happens. Okay, so this is the toughest part of the run at the very end. Brooke, take it away.
Oh yeah, so Death and Dracula. Basically this fight ends when you kill one of them. Death has less HP, and we deal more damage to him, so we're going to be aiming for Death. Or phase 1 ends when you, kill, Death. So we're going to be this is super chaotic because you're avoiding 2 enemies at once.
Oh, I got terrible luck here. There's a setup I wanted to go for, but unfortunately Death got in position too late, so this Phase 2... I shouldn't say Phase 2. Phase 1 Part 2 is going to take a little bit longer than normal. In this fight, lots of things can go wrong.
Alright, that's Phase 1. Phase 2 is probably like the hardest part of the whole run. So I'm just gonna explain what happens and let Jupiter do it. So he's gonna go around Dracula, and that's gonna manipulate Dracula's AI to do the fireball attack, which will gives Jupiter plenty of time to do attacks of his own. So you'll see here he goes behind Dracula and then behind him again when he turns around, and that manipulates him to do this fireball attack. And then by going over him with precise timing, you can again manipulate him to do the fireball attack. And then you just stun lock him until the end of the run. So time is coming up. Jupiter will probably call it.
Okay, time.
Wow, 32-35. That was a really up-dog run.
That run went way better than I expected. Some of those splits would have been gold splits if I hadn't taken safety saves. So, yeah, Axe Armor, Deathless, able to defeat Dracula. Good for him. What an adventure. So yeah, Brooke, any closing thoughts?
No, not really.
Well, let me just say that I'm a huge fan of this series. I do stream these Metroidvania speedruns every day, if you'd like to check them out. And Brooke, I want to thank you a lot for joining. That was some really excellent co-commentary.
Thank you.